or anything like basically. So ऐसे लोग को हम लोग बोलते हैं population, right? And there are different characteristics of this particular population. And if we talk in terms of physical characterization, so हम लोग उसको दो ways में कर सकते हैं. Either by the number, जिसमें हम देखते हैं कितने individuals present है in a particular population, or it can be in a terms of density, जहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कि okay, कितने इंडिविजुअल्स प्रेजेंट है कितने एरिया में और कितने टाइम में. सो इट इज नॉट जस्ट अ नंबर बट एट द सेम टाइम हम लोग एरिया एंड टाइम आर ऑल्सो कंसिडर करते हैं. ओके, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी. ओके, सो आई होप यू ऑल आर क्लियर विद दैट. एंड आफ्टर दैट हम लोग देखा था natality and mortality. So can anyone tell me what is natality and what is mortality? At least a basic difference. Yes, anyone?
नेटलिटी बर्थ को रेफर करता है एंड मॉर्टेलिटी मतलब डेथ रेट्स.
Yeah, so that is a mortality is a death rate and the natality is a birth rate, right? So both of these are basically characteristics of a population, not an individual person. Okay, हम लोग particular population को बोल सकते हैं क्या ये population का birth rate इतना है, ये population का death rate इतना है. Now even like and it can be in a specific aspect also. So even now अगर तुम लोग देखोगे considering अभी कोरोना का केस जो चालू है पैंडेमिक, राइट? सो एवरी डे ऑन अ न्यूज चैनल यू विल से सम काइंड ऑफ स्टैटिस्टिक्स. सो ओके, अपना द डेथ रेट इज 1.5%, 1.2%, दिन में इतने लोग मर रहे हैं, दिस मच पीपल आर एक्चुअली गेटिंग रिकवर्ड, सो अपना रिकवरी रेट इज नाउ मोर देन 70%. सो दैट इज समथिंग वी कैन गेट इन्फॉर्मेशन. दिस इज समथिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन जो हम लोग को मिलता है based on the population studies, and that's why it is very very important. So we actually calculate, so it is not like कि सब एक साथ start हो जाएगा, सबको एक साथ calculate करेंगे, not like that. It is stepwise manner में. So if you remember, even in case of like natality, there were two types. एक में specific था, एक में crude था. तो crude is like overall हम लोग देख रहे थे कितना बर्थ हो रहा है, एंड इन काइंड ऑफ स्पेसिफिक हम लोग एक स्पेसिफिक अप्रोच देख रहे थे कि ओके एक स्पेसिफिक क्राइटेरिया देख रहे थे. इट कैन बी एनीथिंग, इट कैन बी एज, इट कैन बी सेक्स, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग, बट बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी वर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट द birth rate. So same goes for the population, like different other characters also. So from which we can derive the information regarding different aspects. So I just gave you information like example of the current pandemic situation जहाँ हम लोग कोरोना का स्टडी करते हैं. So that can be a best example I think which you can relate currently. Okay, मतलब क्या हो रहा है. Okay. After that we saw two terms like a basic classification that were absolute natality and realized natality, and absolute mortality and realized mortality. What was the difference between the two, absolute and the realized?
एब्सोल्यूट जो रहता है वो रियल में नहीं रहता है, मतलब ऐसा असली में नहीं होता है, पर जो रियल वाला रहता है.
Yeah, okay, but थोड़ा और क्लियर वर्ड्स में तुम कैसे बता सकते हो? बस वन कंप्लीट देयर इज अ पॉइंट ऑफ डिफरेंशिएशन कि वो एक पॉइंट है जो एब्सोल्यूट एंड रियलाइज को डिफरेंशिएट करता है. तो ऐसा क्या पॉइंट है?
एब्सोल्यूट ऐसे theoretical
कॉम्पिटिशन.
concept है.
Yeah, so someone just mentioned something like competition. So that is the exact and very correct word she has used. So in case of absolute, there is no competition involved, right? In case of realize, we actually consider all the factors like competition and the other environmental factors. Okay, so and that's why realize is a more realistic way, and absolute is kind of ideal situation जो rarely हो सकता है या फिर शायद होगा भी नहीं. Okay. Now we will see in a like the next part of the chapter how it is like not that why it is not possible that ki ideal conditions में like सब कुछ अच्छा खासा चल रहा है and still the population is not like in ideal condition. ऐसा क्यों होता है कि why a population cannot be in a ideal state? Okay, why it is always that कि बहुत सारे competition और बहुत सारे environmental factors आ जाते हैं in between, और क्यों वो पॉपुलेशन को अफेक्ट करते. So that all things we will studying in the next part of the chapter. So before that, one more part we have studied about the age distribution and age pyramid. So I had mentioned that okay, for the sake of better understanding and for better study, पॉपुलेशन को अलग अलग ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड किया जाता है. इट कैन बी बेस्ड ऑन डिफरेंट फैक्टर्स, बट जो करंटली मोस्ट वाइडली यूज्ड वन इज द बेस्ड ऑन द एज. कितने लोग बिलो 14 है, कितने लोग अबव 14 टू 45 के बीच में है, और कितने लोग 45 एंड अबव 100 और व्हाटएवर लाइक द मैक्सिमम लिमिट हो सकता है वो. ओके, बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी हैव कैटेगराइज्ड देम इनटू थ्री ग्रुप्स, राइट? प्री रिप्रोडक्टिव, रिप्रोडक्टिव एंड पोस्ट रिप्रोडक्टिव. तो जब हम इनको एक टिपिकल ग्राफिकल फॉर्म में या फिर डायग्रामेटिक फॉर्म में दिखाते हैं, दैट इंडिकेट्स अस अ एज पिरामिड. सो एज पिरामिड विल टेल मी द इंफॉर्मेशन. सो जस्ट बाय लुकिंग एट द एज पिरामिड आई कैन गेट द इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट कि कोई भी पॉपुलेशन जो है वो एक्सपांडिंग है, मतलब ग्रोविंग है, या वो स्टेशनरी फेज में है, या वो बहुत स्लोली ग्रोविंग है, या फिर वो निगेटिवली ग्रोविंग है. व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय निगेटिवली ग्रोविंग? कि जहाँ पे प्री रिप्रोडक्टिव ग्रुप जो होता है वो बहुत कम होता है एंड पोस्ट रिप्रोडक्टिव ग्रुप इज वेरी हाई इन नंबर. Okay, so this is not something favorable basically if I want to see the growing population. Okay, in some case it is zero where both the like there is a balance between the pre and post. So there is nothing like ek bahut zyada ek bahut kam. In a slow growing, okay, there is a very little bit growth of the population, but it is not high. And there are some countries like we can say mostly are developing countries, even we, the India is coming under the rapid growth because apno ka population is growing at very high rate. Even though the government is running so many facilities and the services and then policies to control the population, I think there is no significant impact as such. जो अभी तक देखा गया है कि okay, we are successful in terms of controlling the population, but then it just indicates that what is the like the state of the population, कि वो growing है या कैसा है. So that is the one way to study the population. So यहाँ पे हमने last time stop किया था. So now we will be taking the next part. What are the other ways to study the population? तो ये जो मैंने pyramids अभी दिखाए थे तुम लोग को, age pyramids, that is mainly based on the number. तो हम लोग actually सब लोग का number calculate करते हैं. तो if you know census, जनगणना जो हर 10 साल में एक बार होती है, तब ये सब like the government जो रहते हैं कैंडिडेट्स लाइक वॉट एवर द गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स एंड ऑल के जो टीचर्स एंड ऑल रहते हैं, वो लोग हर एक घर में जाके दे टेक डेटा कि एक घर में कितने लोग हैं, फिर एक एरिया में कितने हैं, फिर एक पर्टिकुलर तहसील में कितना है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट में कितना है, एंड देन द स्टेट एंड देन द होल कंट्री. दिस इज द वे एक्चुअली वी डू द पर्टिकुलर पॉपुलेशन का स्टडी कि कितने लोग कहाँ पे रहते हैं. Okay, so this is possible for us जहाँ पे counting is possible, that the person can go to anyone's home and take the number and data कि कौन क्या करता है, कितना फाइनेंस है, कितने लोग घर में हैं, कितने लोग छोटे हैं, कितने लोग बड़े. All possible information is can be taken or we can say extracted from in this particular move. But there are some certain cases जहाँ पे counting is not possible. Okay, so which are these conditions कि जहाँ पे, तो अगर मुझे कोई माइक्रोस्कोपिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स को देखना है, I cannot just go and count them because it is, even though I am counting the organisms, वहाँ पे बहुत हाई चांसेस होता है कि I will miss on some or more, right? तो मुझे एग्जैक्ट नंबर तो मिलने से ना रहा, तो it means कि even though I am doing this particular thing, it will not be that impactful thing to do. Okay. So that's why in certain cases, calculation of this population number or population density is not that good way of studying a population. Okay. So what we can do the next? So in this case, something called as biomass comes in a picture. Okay. So what is biomass? मतलब total कितना सारा cells? Let's say मेरे पास cells है बहुत सारा जो मैंने grow किया है. So I generally talk in terms of biomass, मतलब कितने grams of cells है मेरे पास in a particular amount of the liquid और जिसमें मैं उसको grow करा हूँ. So that will give me some indirect clue about कितने cells और कितना number हो सकता है बैक्टीरिया का या फिर कोई भी माइक्रोस्कोपिक ऑर्गेनिजम्स का. Okay, So this is the one way. So because it is not possible, so it basically counting is not possible because we there are high chance of error कि हम लोग कुछ ना कुछ तो गलती कर ही बैठेंगे. So that is not even reliable to do, and there is no point in investing so much of time एक एक सेल को या फिर एक एक माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म को ग्रो करके मतलब गिनना इज नॉट दैट इजी, राइट? So that's why taking the direct biomass, okay, itna biomass hai, and then there are different ways to calculate the number of cells based on the biomass. Okay, तो then उसके बाद हम लोग सोचते हैं कि okay, अगर मेरे पास इतना biomass है, उनका cell, उनका इसका weight is इतना है, so from that I can somehow do some back calculation, some back calculation के basis पे I can tell you कि कितने cells present हो सकते हैं. Obviously that will be also approximate measure. It will not be a exact number, but still it is one of the reliable method. Okay, and again why it is not that reliable method, so they have given one example. So अगर let's say बहुत सारे ants है या फिर termites है, तो we all know generally forest में जैसे बड़े बड़े मिट्टी के ढेर होते हैं, वहाँ पे बहुत सारे termites and ants are actually present. Okay, and there are many other animals which are actually feeding on these termites and ants, right? So now ants and termites are like unka number is so large. Anyway, like it is like abundance. It is not that easy to calculate. But then that does not mean that कि just because इनका नंबर बहुत ज्यादा है, इन पे जो खाना खा इनको जो खाते हैं एनिमल्स, उनका भी नंबर ज्यादा होना चाहिए. So this kind of relation cannot be or correlation cannot be established. So it can give me wrong data, right? I cannot say कि मेरे पास billions of ants है, so the number of the animals which are eating up this particular ants and termites is also very high. No, it is obviously possible that कि जो लोग उसमें feed कर रहे हैं, that can be present in a slow number. So that cannot be correlated directly. So that is one of the point which needs to be considered while doing this particular population studies. Okay. So the same they have mentioned over here again. So there is one again indirect method. So it is like instead of if there is a large number of population which I am not able to count all together. Okay. So what I will prefer, I will take a group of individuals. Okay. I will count them and I will say कि okay अगर इतने एरिया में इतने इंडिविजुअल्स हैं और मेरे पास लेट्स से 1000 square foot का area है, I want to calculate all the organisms in that 1000 square foot. Okay. So what I will do, instead of going for the entire 1000 square foot, I will take 1 square foot का area. I will see how many organisms are present in that 1 square foot, and then I can extrapolate. Okay, अगर 1 square foot में इतने हैं, तो 1000 में इतने होंगे. And that is also kind of reliable method to do the population studies. Okay. It is not that like it is very, though it is indirect method we can say, but then the results which are obtained are quite reliable. Okay. In most of the other animals like tiger, so nowadays they have this kind of chips basically जो लोग जो फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट वाले यूज करते हैं, they actually put it in animals basically, उनके गले में some kind of bands they put and उसमें रहता है, so that they can track them out, okay, कि लोग कहाँ पे जा रहे, कितने हो रहे वगैरह. But then that is just one way and it is not like feasible in all the cases. Okay, so if I want to check कि okay particular area में कितने सारे tigers present है in a particular national park. Okay, so how they do it? They actually check the pug marks. What is the pug mark? Basically उनका paw, जो उनके पैर के जो निशान रहते हैं वो लोग ट्रैक करते हैं. Okay, because it was found that there is a differences, some minor differences in the males and females, जो उनके पैर होते हैं उसमें. So even from that they can get information कि okay कितने males है कितने females है. And this is not very reliable method, I can say. It is kind of indirect method because, but then this is also one of the considered method for the census. Okay, in case of tigers and some wild animals. And the other way which they do it, like they actually check up the fecal pellets. वो लोग उसको collect करके they do some kind of analysis of the pellets and then they can find out कि okay कि कितना number हो सकता है. So these are the some methods in case of wild animals which they are using. Okay, I hope I'm clear enough and you are getting what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, it is not that डिफिकल्ट पार्ट बेसिकली, बट थोड़ा सा ट्विस्टी है, ट्रिकी है. ओके, सो ये जस्ट अबाउट पॉपुलेशन क्या होता है, उसके अलग अलग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या है और उसको स्टडी क्या करते हैं. ये जो एंटायर टॉपिक अभी हम लोग अभी कवर अप कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम लास्ट 2 days, ये पूरा पॉपुलेशन के रिगार्डिंग ही है. ओके, so don't worry about anything. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me at any time. Okay, so the next part comes now. So this is all about the population studies and how to count the number and all. Okay, so that is done. The next part comes in a picture is a population growth. So if I want to study a population growth, what all things needs to be considered and what all are the factors which are actually involved in this particular process of growth. Okay, there is not like कि मतलब randomly growth होता रहेगा. No, it sometimes it will be happening at a rapid rate, sometimes it will be at a poor rate. Anything is possible. So what decides at what rate the growth will happen? Okay, कौन से basis पे decide होगा? That we will see now. Okay, so the size of the population is actually one of the important factor, or we can say component, which is need to be considered while studying any particular species. Okay, कितने number में present होगा. So size do matter in case of this particular studies. Okay, because the population can keep on changing depending on the various factors. It can be environmental factors as well. Okay, like अगर कई जगह पे सुनामी आ गया, सब कुछ बह के गया, obviously the number will, most of them will die and the number will go down. कभी कभी let's say earthquake हो गया, so there will be chances कि हम लोग कुछ species को they can get actually exist, they will not just exist after that thing, मतलब वो completely extinct हो सकते हैं. That is also possible. Then there are prey predator kind of relationship. So let's say deer and the tiger or any other carnivore. Okay, तो उनका number और उनका population depends on each other. Okay, and then obviously the availability of the food. So these are the few factors which are the deciding factors, we can say, to decide कि कितने like what will be the growth rate of the particular population. Okay, so based on this we can say कि a particular population कि वो मतलब flourishing है या declining है करके, कि मतलब वो बढ़ रहा है या कम हो रहा है. Okay, so now if I want to study a population growth, there are other factors also. So which includes the 4 important things which हम लोगों ने अभी देखे थे in the last lecture. The first thing है कि अगर कोई भी let's say population is there, उसका size कब बढ़ेगा? जब वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों का मतलब like when the reproduction rate is quite high. Okay, so that is the one thing that will lead to the growth of the population. या फिर बाहर के कोई population से कुछ लोग अंदर आ रहे हैं, so that's why the size of the current population will also increase because there is an addition of the individuals. So natality and the immigration, okay, can contribute to the increase in the population density, right? ये इसके वजह से population का size बढ़ सकता है. However, if I want to study the decrease in the population size, मतलब क्यों हो सकता है? There are two possibilities for that also. कि इधर उनका natality जो उनका mortality जो rate होता है, that can be very high, मतलब उनका death rate high हो सकता है, या फिर emigration, मतलब a number of individuals are actually leaving the population and going to the next place. So this will lead to the like decrease in the population density, right? So now, as I think you all know what is immigration and what is emigration. Immigration is like individuals are coming into the particular habitat from the other particular region, or emigration, that is exiting, they are actually going out or leaving the particular habitat. Okay, so these are the two main components along with the mortality and the natality factors. Okay, so now let's say I am having a population n. Okay, population with the density n at a time t. So let's say अभी मेरे पास population density है of n. Okay, so that I will say as a NT. So अगर मुझे find out करना है कि at the time t plus 1, okay, मतलब let's say after 10 years कितना population होगा ये पर्टिकुलर, लाइक कितना टोटल पॉपुलेशन होगा ये पर्टिकुलर हैबिटेट में या फिर पर्टिकुलर पॉपुलेशन का जो मैंने सेलेक्ट किया है, राइट. सो हाउ विल आई कैलकुलेट दैट? इट कैन बी गिवन अप बाय द इक्वेशन n t plus 1, मतलब at t plus 1 after the 10 years, let's take example after 10 years, after 10 year the population will be nt. nt मतलब अभी कितना है उतना, so अभी का जो population density रहेगा that plus now b is what? birth rate. कितने लोग का बर्थ हुआ है इन 10 years प्लस कितने लोग इमिग्रेट हुए हैं, लाइक कितने लोग बाहर से आए हैं इन अ पॉपुलेशन डेथ. So this will give me कि कितना इंक्रीज हुआ है इन अ पॉपुलेशन इन 10 years माइनस इन अ स्पैन ऑफ 10 years कितने लोग मरे हैं, दैट इज अ d, प्लस कितने लोग छोड़ के गए हैं, दैट इज अ e. So the entire equation becomes n t plus 1, that is the population density at time t plus 1 is equal to nt, that is the population density at time t, plus b plus I, that is the birth rate plus immigration, minus b plus e, that is the death rate plus emigration. Okay, so what does it mean? कि given population plus कितना बड़ा और कितना घटा. Okay, so this actually gives us the density of population at particular time. Okay, I hope you understood what I just explained you in terms of the population density calculation. Okay, it is one of the important equation, especially for the NEET students. So please don't ignore or like note down it properly because MCQs this type of questions are very common. Okay, so if you are having any doubt with respect to this particular equation, you all can ask, or else we can go to the growth curves now. So any doubt in this particular population density equations? कुछ doubts हैं? Yes, no? Okay, so I think no. So let's move. Now the next part comes जहाँ पे ये पॉपुलेशन को अलग अलग पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ को स्टडी किया जाता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ टू डिफरेंट वेज. ओके, सो इट कैन बी लॉजिस्टिक और इट कैन बी एक्सपोनेंशियल. नाउ व्हाट इज लॉजिस्टिक, व्हाट इज एक्सपोनेंशियल, तुम लोगों को लगेगा ये क्या बोलते जा रहे हैं, तो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. ओके, सो थोड़ा पेशेंस एंड देन विल सी एग्जैक्टली क्या होता है ये लॉजिस्टिक और एक्सपोनेंशियल. ओके, so what do we mean by logistic or what do we mean by overall this growth models, क्या होता है? So in this हम लोग एक्चुअली स्टडी करते हैं कि अ पर्टिकुलर पॉपुलेशन जो है वो कोई स्पेसिफिक पैटर्न दिखाता है क्या, कि ओके it will keep on increasing up to some time, then it will be stationary, or it will keep on increasing for to the end of the time, ऐसा कुछ होता है क्या? So that वो kind of studies हम लोग करते हैं under this growth models. Okay, so we all know population is always a big issue when it is when it is uncontrolled, right? It has to be in a controlled way because अगर थोड़ा भी population बढ़ गए so now we are under like that issue, like हम लोग face कर रहे currently, we are facing a big problem of population, like high large number of population currently we are having like 130 billion something. So इसका problem क्या होता है? Why it is making a problem? Because then the resources becomes limited, right? तो सबको 2 टाइम का अच्छा खाना मिलना is an I think essential thing. Whatever तुम लोग क्या खा रहे हो, कैसे खा रहे हो, that doesn't matter, but खाना मिलना is an important thing because we all know food, shelter and clothes are something the basic needs of all the human beings, right? So those at least should get fulfilled for all the population, like whichever in a particular country, and that's why it is important to study such kind of patterns so that we can predict basically कि अभी अगर ये situation है तो after 5 years, what will be the situation? After 10 years, what will be the situation? Like that. Okay. So that kind of information can be obtained from the growth models. Okay. So and it is also now applicable to the other animals. So okay, I explain you in terms of human beings, जो हम लोग को हम लोग के related. But even the same kind of studies can be done for the other animal population which are present in the nature. So one such kind of model we can say is like exponential growth. Okay. So what is exponential growth? Basically, in this case, what we consider all the required essential components जो रहते हैं और resources जो रहते हैं for a particular population to grow are present in a abundance. Okay, मतलब unlimitedly वो present है. तो इसका फायदा क्या होगा? Kind of thing कि the population will keep on increasing in a number. Okay, जब तक उसके पास सब रिसोर्स अवेलेबल है, it will keep on increasing or it will keep on growing in number. And this particular kind of population is or a growth is called as a exponential growth. So if you take this particular graph, it is a graph for exponential growth. It is typical J-shaped graph we call it. So on a y-axis you can see population size, and on the x-axis you can see the time. So since all the resources are present in abundance and are unlimited, basically there is no limitation in a number of a population, and it will keep on growing. So you can see it is growing, and the curve can go till end. Okay, जब तक उसके पास resources available है तब तक. So this is a kind of exponential growth. Okay, जहाँ पे number बढ़ते रहता है. Okay. So and this is possible basically that अगर कुछ भी, and why we are getting this unlimited kind of like अगर ऐसा resource रहेगा, why we are getting such kind of growth? Because obviously ना, अगर मैं किसी को खाना दे रहा हूँ, उसको कुछ और करना नहीं है, there is no competition, there is no environmental factors playing role at all, तो उसका नंबर बढ़ना is like but obvious. Like such kind of condition actually we maintain in laboratories for a particular experiment. अगर मुझे कोई बैक्टीरिया ग्रो करना है और या फिर मुझे कोई एनिमल को हार्वेस्ट करना है और सॉरी एनिमल को नर्चर करना है in my particular lab, so I will provide all possible ideal conditions to that particular animal or that particular organism so that they can grow to the maximum limit. Okay, so this is possible, and the animals or the organisms can grow. जब उनके पास unlimited resources, they can grow very fast and they can reach a very large number in a very short time. Okay, so if there are no other barriers or we can say limiting factors, so all the animals, no matter वो bacteria है या वो elephant है, they can grow to the maximum number. Okay, so just imagine अगर there are no such kind of barriers or limitations, one particular species can dominate the entire world. So I just was reading about this insecta, okay, the group insecta, and if you know, insects are the most abundant category of the animals on earth. So they were telling information about the animals and basically butterflies. So I think all of us are very like fond of, like, we like butterflies, right? So they are very beautiful, they have colorful wings and all whatever. So they were explaining the things कि अगर this particular butterflies they actually lay eggs which is very large number, मतलब वो दिन में बहुत सारे eggs lay करते हैं. So if without any barrier अगर सब के सब ये eggs अगर hatch हो गए and सब के सब अगर वो butterflies अगर पैदा हो गए, so there will not be a single space on earth to stand. Okay, पूरा का पूरा cover हो सकता है, इतना उनका population बढ़ जाएगा. But ऐसा कुछ होता है क्या? No. Why? Because the nature maintains the balance. So जब अगर let's say a particular butterfly ने a particular x number of eggs दे दिए हैं अभी, so there will be so many environmental factors जो उसमें से आधे मतलब छूट जाएंगे या फिर they will not make it to the end, or there will be predators like some lizards and all, they will eat up this particular eggs, and that's how we maintain the balance. Okay. That's why this kind of growth is not really a very realistic approach. Okay, the number, okay, it is, अगर तुमने control condition में किया, if you are providing all the possible things, so definitely you can get the exponential growth. So when we are doing any microbiology studies, we generally prefer the exponential growth of the bacteria or the fungus or any microorganism because that is the favorable for us. But हम लोग वो कैसे control condition में करते हैं? It is not happening naturally. It is we are doing it for our experiments. So that is possible, but in nature it is not that realistic. Okay. And obviously, because why it is not realistic in nature? Because obviously the food and space will not be always there unlimited. There are multiple factors which can be playing a role over here and which will not allow the animal to show the exponential kind of growth. Okay. So that's why it can slow down the growth, and that's why it is not the realistic one. So what is a more realistic approach? So that realistic approach is called as the logistic growth or the sigmoid growth curve. Now what is logistic growth? So it is something opposite to the exponential growth. Okay. So exponential में हमने क्या देखा था? There is unlimited resources. There is no any barrier or any obstacles in between. So in this case, we are actually considering the limited kind of environment. So we also consider the environmental factors. We also consider the competition and all. Okay. So as we all know, Darwin ने एक theory बनाया था, survival of fittest. मतलब जो fit है and which can adapt to the environment, only those can survive till end. Those who are not capable to do so will get perish off. They will not be able to make it to the end, right? So अगर सब कुछ resources limited है तो obviously it will lead to the competition, और जो ये competition को जीतेगा only that will be able to survive in such kind of population. So, but then all the habitats जो भी हमारे nature में present है, let's say any forest or any other aquatic system, तो यहाँ पे you can see there are enough number of resources. तो अगर कोई forest भी है, तो there are so many plants, so many grasslands present within the thing, पानी रहता है, even there are equal number of predators, prey and all present. तो omnivores रहते हैं, carnivores रहते हैं, herbivores रहते हैं. So these actually make up the balance of the particular habitat. So, but so basically जो हम लोग के पास present होगा, that will be actually enough for this particular population to survive and to grow. But beyond this particular limited resources, there will be no growth observed. So ये population का आगे growth हो नहीं पाएगा. And that is why it is called a logistic growth. Okay? तो ये जो limit है, मतलब जितना मेरे पास है resources तब तक तो वो अच्छे से grow हो सकते हैं. But the moment I try to cross the limit or I'm trying to go beyond the limit, the growth will not happen. तो ये जो limit है actually, जिसके beyond growth नहीं हो सकता, that limit is called as carrying capacity, which is denoted by the letter K. Okay, so the K is the carrying capacity beyond which there will be no growth will be observed. So this is a typical graph for a logistic growth. So if you can see, it looks like a typical S. Okay, and it is called as sorry, so yeah, it is typical S-shaped thing, and that's what is called as a sigmoid curve. The sigmoid is basically a mathematical function जो जिसका curve S-shaped दिखता है, and based on that we call this curve as a sigmoid curve. Okay, so you can see on a y-axis there is a growth, there is a size or weight of the organism, and on y-axis there is a time. So with time there will be increase in a growth, there will be lag phase, there will be log phase or exponential phase, and there will be the stationary phase. Okay, in between there is a diminishing growth phase. Now I will discuss what is the lag, what is the log, and what is the stationary phase. Okay, so lag phase is basically a phase जहाँ पे the population is try to adapt to a particular environment. Okay, so it is not something कि मतलब एक बार फटक से उसने अपने habitat में गया तो it will start growing fast. No, So in a lag phase, generally growth बहुत slow होता है. In exponential phase, actually the animal or organism gets adapted to the environment and it shows a particular growth. And जैसे जैसे उसका resources, let's say food, का limit कम होता जाएगा, the growth will also get affected, and that will cause a like that will limit a particular growth. So that is called as a stationary phase. Okay. So ये जो sigmoid curve है, this particular type of the growth जो है, that is a logistic growth. इसको also it is also called as the Verlet-Spall logistic growth. It was the name of the scientist who were actually studying this. So it just that उसको ये भी बोलते हैं. And as you can see, we know the resources of the required for a particular habitat can be not unlimited but can be limited, and that's why logistic growth gives us more realistic approach than the exponential growth. Okay, so this is the basic two models which are involved in the logistic which are involved in the growth, that is a logistic and the exponential. Okay, so let me know if you are having any doubt with respect to this, then we can move ahead. Okay, so तुम लोग को दो बातें याद रखनी है. In case of what is the growth model? Growth model is basically studying the growth of a particular population and to check कि वो कुछ specific pattern दिखा रहा है क्या. वो सीखने के लिए, वो देखने के लिए हम लोग growth model study करते हैं. There are two main growth models, we can say exponential type or exponential growth and the logistic growth. Exponential growth में हम लोग को J shape curve मिलता है, which says that there is a unlimited resources, and as long as the resources is available, the population will keep on increasing. Okay, तो उनका number बहुत कम time पे भी बढ़ सकता है because all the conditions are basically ideal conditions. However, this is not a very realistic approach और हम लोग का more realistic way चाहिए. So that actually gives us the that is actually given by the logistic growth, जहाँ पे resources are actually limited. Okay, so what happens? So the population growth is not like unlimited kind of thing growth, but it will reach a particular point. जब तक उसके पास resources तब तक वो grow होगा. After that particular point, there will be no growth, and that will be called as stationary phase. Okay, so maximum growth will be observed during the exponential phase. और थोड़ा slow growth देखा जाता है या lag phase. So there are three phases in a sigmoid curve called as lag phase, exponential phase, and the stationary phase. Okay, lag में slow growth, exponential में very fast growth, और stationary में there will be no growth because there will be no further resources available for the organism to utilize. Okay, I hope this is clear to you all. If you are having any doubt in this, let me know. Yes, any doubts? Okay, I am assuming that सब लोग को सब कुछ समझ रहा है. I am assuming that you all are listening. So please मेरे assumption को गलत prove मत करना. So that is all about the growth and all. Okay, so yeah, so I was saying कि, so if you can see the nature has maintained some kind of balance. Okay, and we can say this is selection pressure. तो अगर बहुत कोई एनिमल बहुत बड़ा है तो उनका पॉपुलेशन उनका रिप्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी इज लेस, मतलब वो एक टाइम पे ज़्यादा बच्चे पैदा नहीं कर सकते. बट अगर कोई बहुत छोटा है, दे कैन गिव अ बर्थ टू द लार्ज नंबर ऑफ ऑफस्प्रिंग्स. ओके, सो यू कैन सी एलिफेंट, उसका एक्चुअली जेस्टेशन पीरियड भी बहुत लंबा होता है. एट द सेम टाइम एक टाइम पे वो एक बच्चा ही रहता है, एंड अंडर रेयर कंडीशन दो हो सकते हैं, बट दैट इज अ रेयर कंडीशन. बट देन जनरली वन ऑफस्प्रिंग पर एलिफेंट. ओके, और उसका जेस्टेशन पीरियड भी कितना होता है? ऑलमोस्ट 2 years का होता है, मतलब उसका प्रेगनेंसी टाइम 2 साल का होता है. बट इफ यू गो टू द स्मॉलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स लाइक माउस का प्रेगनेंसी टाइम इज जस्ट 20 days. बट 20 days में यू कैन गेट अ सेट ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स, और उसमें भी एक टाइम पे वो कम से कम 7 to 8 बच्चे तो पैदा कर ही देते हैं, मतलब बड़ा नंबर. बट देन द सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट मेक श्योर दैट द नंबर विल बी फाइनल नंबर विल बी proper. It's not like कि मेरे पास 100 माउस है और 100 के लाइक देयर आर 100 माइस इन माय हैंड एंड ऑल ऑफ देम आर नाउ गिविंग बर्थ टू द बेबी। तो अगर सबको 8 हुआ तो मेरे पास 800 ऑफस्प्रिंग होंगे, बट नॉट ऑल द 800 विल बी सर्वाइविंग, देयर विल बी सम अदर कंडीशंस, कुछ जिएंगे, कुछ मर जाएंगे, कुछ वीक रहेंगे, कुछ खाना खा के कुछ डिसीज से मर जाएंगे, मल्टीपल पॉसिबिलिटीज आर देयर। बट जस्ट आई जस्ट वांट टू शो यू द रिलेशनशिप बड़े एनिमल्स में एंड द लोअर एनिमल्स में। ओके, nowadays in a lab generally अगर कोई एक्सपेरिमेंट करना है तो आई होप यू मस्ट बी लाइक यू मस्ट बी हर्ड दिस टर्म्स नाउअडेज, एनिमल मॉडल्स एंड ऑल वो लोग सब करते हैं। इवन इन टर्म्स ऑफ कोरोना वो लोग बोलते हैं कि अच्छा हमने अभी एनिमल मॉडल किया, हमने रैट पे चेक किया, अभी हम लोग मंकी पे करेंगे, देन हम लोग ह्यूमन बींग्स पे करेंगे। सो ऑल दीज एक्सपेरिमेंट आर जनरली डन इन अ लैबोरेटरी कंट्रोल कंडीशंस। तो अगर मुझे कोई रैट चाहिए और कोई माउस चाहिए फॉर माई एक्सपेरिमेंट, जनरली व्हाट वी डू द super ovulation. So what is super ovulation? Because see, this does not happen in nature, but मैं कर रहा हूँ because मुझे like मैं मतलब the scientists do this for their convenience. So what they do, they take a female mouse and they carry out the process of super ovulation, so that at the same time that one female mouse can give rise to 15 to 20 offspring. तो मेरा काम easy पड़ेगा। So that is something happens under control conditions, but not in a natural conditions. So, so that is all about the population studies. So the next part, actually I will not go in detail about this in this lecture. हम लोग हर एक का individual पढ़ेंगे. So, but then a brief introduction about what is the next now. So in the next part now, अभी हमने देखा कि ओके पॉपुलेशन है, लेट्स से इकोसिस्टम है, इकोसिस्टम में देयर आर मल्टीपल बायोटिक अबायोटिक फैक्टर्स, अबायोटिक फैक्टर्स आल्सो प्ले इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन अ regulation of habitat. Then is a niche which actually decides the activity of the organisms. Then abiotic factors includes many living beings. It can be anything from microbes to the big animals, and these animals actually interact with the abiotic factors. So that is why it is called an ecosystem, because it explains me the information about the interactions between the living and the non-living beings, right? So दिस वाज द इंफॉर्मेशन कि ओके हमने देखा कि कैसे टेम्परेचर की वजह से अफेक्ट हो सकता है, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एडेप्टेशंस आर हैपनिंग ओवर देयर एंड ऑल। नाउ टाइम टू स्टडी हाउ दिस पॉपुलेशंस व्हिच आर एक्चुअली एग्जिस्टिंग इन अ पर्टिकुलर हैबिटेट आर इंटरैक्टिंग विद ईच अदर। मतलब एक पॉपुलेशन का दूसरे पॉपुलेशन पे क्या इफेक्ट हो सकता है। इज इट पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट, इज इट नेगेटिव इफेक्ट, और इज इट न्यूट्रल इफेक्ट? Okay, so all these things we will be studying in a term or under the roof of the term population interactions. Okay, so now what does this population interaction? So if you observe, I think there is no population like which is isolated in a nature. Some or other way we all are dependent on each other for some or other function, right? It's not like कि कोई एक है जो सर्वगुण संपन्न है and that has established its own population some out of the world somewhere like in a particular area and वो वहाँ पे जी रहे हैं, only that population, there is no other population, no other species present. तो ऐसा कहीं पे भी नहीं है. We all are like some other way connected to the each other. Like even let's say the example of the plants. So we can say plants are something which are not really very dependent on other, but still they are in a one way. So why I'm saying that they are independent in some way, because they are autotrophic. Like they can use they can use light and chlorophyll, and they can make their own food, and that's how they can grow, right? So they don't need support from us कि मुझे जाके उसको खाना खिलाना नहीं पड़ता. But even for the growth, they require some kind of minerals, some kind of organic components or inorganic components. तो ये जो organic और inorganic components और nutrients उनको लगते हैं, that is actually provided by different bacterial flora which is present in a soil. So that's how the bacterial flora is helping the plants to grow. Okay. and in return this particular bacteria or this particular microorganisms will get something from plants. What is something is like, because the plants keep on secreting some kind of chemicals, तो उनकी जो roots है वहाँ से they will secrete some kind of chemicals that can be used by this bacteria for their growth. So this is kind of, we can say, म्यूचुअल काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप जहाँ पे ये दोनों भी एक दूसरे को हेल्प करें. बट नाउ आई एम नॉट मोर इंटरेस्टेड अबाउट कि वो म्यूचुअल है या वो वन साइडेड है, वो कैसे. ओके, सो दिस इज समथिंग बट आई वांट टू टेल यू कि दोनों भी इंटरेक्ट करते हैं विद ईच अदर. ओके, so there are different kind of such interactions which are present in which one species is actually interacting with the another species in different ways which are existing in a particular habitat altogether. Okay, it can include the relationship between the plant and animal, it can be microbe and the plant, it can be animal and the animal, anything, but interaction is something important. Okay, now this interaction which are happening between the in a nature basically are something we can say classified in a two ways. Okay, it can be intraspecific or interspecific. What do I mean by intra and the word inter? Intra matlab within the same group, inter matlab between the two different groups. Okay, so the interaction can be intraspecific matlab it can exist between the individuals of the same species, and but it can also be interspecific, which means it can be between the two different species. So two different species may help each other or may kill each other or may take advantage of each other for their survival. Okay, so that is called as interspecific. So the interspecific can include two or more than that species also. And the overall this interaction, if I want to study, so there are different groups in which I can study it. It can include neutralism. What do I mean by neutralism? मतलब यहाँ पे जो भी दो इंडिविजुअल्स या फिर दो ग्रुप्स इन्वॉल्व रहेंगे उनका एक दूसरे पे इफेक्ट होगा, बट देयर विल बी नो हार्मफुल और नो बेनिफिशियल इफेक्ट एज सच. इट इज न्यूट्रल, ना तू मुझे कुछ फायदा दे रहा है ना मैं तुझे कुछ नुकसान दे रहा हूँ, समझ रहे हो? दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अ न्यूट्रल काइंड ऑफ थिंग. However, in some cases it can be negative effect. मतलब the presence of one species can affect negatively the presence of another species. मतलब उसके वजह से वो मर सकते हैं या फिर they will have suffer from some other problems, and that's why it is called as negative kind of interaction, which is generally a harmful interaction. Okay, or it can be positive interaction, which includes beneficial things. मतलब presence of one species or one individual will be beneficial for the another species or the individual. तो उससे कुछ ना कुछ फायदा होगा. It will either provide some kind of food or some kind of shelter or some kind of protection, and that's why it is called as beneficial kind of interaction. And sometimes it can be both positive and negative. तो दोनों भी कभी वो positively भी effect करेगा, कभी कभी negatively भी कर सकता है. So all these things actually we will be studying in detail under different terms, okay, with the examples. So now I am just telling you what does a term means, okay, but then there will be more than this जहाँ पे हम लोग उसका examples भी पढ़ेंगे कि okay, what does I mean by positive effect, what does I mean by negative effect and all. So वो सब हम लोग डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे individually of the each topic, okay. So as I mentioned, it can be beneficial, it can be detrimental, it can be neutral. So this is just a table which actually shows the information about the different the interaction between the two different species basically. Okay, so let's say there are two species A and B. यहाँ पे O indicates there is a no effect as such. Okay, this minus sign indicates there is a negative effect, and this plus sign indicates that there is a positive effect between the two species. Okay, so now all this kind of interaction जो अभी हम लोग ने डिस्कस कर रहा था can be classified into four major groups. Okay, so the first group is a neutralism. What do I mean by neutralism? As I mentioned, there will be no significant effect ना कुछ बेनिफिट्स होंगे, ना कुछ डिसएडवांटेजेस होंगे. सो ना फायदा ना नुकसान. That is called as neutralism. Okay, and that's why you can see there are two species A and B. So zero, like O, मतलब no effect as such, or it can be a negative interaction. So it can be either competition, like direct interference type. मतलब between the species also there can be competition. So this competition is always leading to the negative effect, because either it can be competition for, let's say, mating. So I don't know how many of you know this thing. So there are even for reproduction there are some species which show competition. So जो healthiest रहेगा, जो सबसे बड़ा रहेगा, that wins the race and that will actually take part in reproduction, and the others have to back out basically. So it is even observed in case of elephants. So this kind of countless like competition also leads to negative effect. Sometimes this kind of competition is so deadly that कि जिसके साथ competition हो रहा है, let's say there are two elephants, so one can even get injured or even can die if the
मर जाता
uh,
है.
yeah, anything. Okay, so that is actually having a negative effect. Or it can be for resources. So let's say food के लिए हो रहा है. So whatever type of competition it is, it will always have a negative effect on both the species. Okay. The another negative type of interaction is like amensalism. Now, what is amensalism? In this, like there are two species. Let's say, so presence of one will affect negatively the presence of other species. However, there will be no effect on the one species. So let's say it is a there is an interaction between the species A and B. They are showing me amensalism. So B is actually negatively affecting the presence of A. So that's why A पे negative effect हो रहा है, but B पे कुछ effect नहीं हो रहा है. That's why it is showing the neutral. Okay, so no significant effect on B. तो एक पे effect हो रहा है negative पे, एक पे effect हो नहीं रहा. That is called as amensalism. Then the third category is a positive interaction. So it includes three groups: symbiosis or mutualism. So यहाँ पे let's say दो groups है, and the दो groups will help each other in some other way. So they will provide food, they will provide shelter or some other way. Okay, and वो एक दूसरे को help करेंगे. So it's kind of friendship. Okay, and they are actually helping each other for their benefits. So in this case, both the species which are involved will be benefited. Okay. However, another type of positive interaction includes commensalism. Okay, so यहाँ पे कैसे होता है? It is something opposite to the amensalism. So amensalism में देखा था कि one species was getting negatively affected, however the another species was not getting affected. मतलब उसमें ना beneficial effect हो रहा है, ना तो कुछ inhibited या negative effect हो रहा है. So in case of commensalism उससे opposite होता है. यहाँ पे एक species पे positive effect होता है, whereas second species पे there is no effect, no beneficial, no negative effect as such. Okay, that is called as commensalism. And the third type is a proto cooperation. So I think the word itself cooperation. तो यहाँ पे दो species एक दूसरे को cooperate करेंगे in some or other way and they will get benefited. तो यहाँ पे दोनों भी actually benefit, दोनों को भी actually benefits मिलेगा of this interaction. And the last category of the interaction includes both positive and the negative interactions. So it includes parasitism and predation. So what is parasitism? So there are two individuals, एक host रहेगा और एक parasite रहेगा. Okay, so the parasite actually requires the host to grow. So the very common example अगर देना चाहो, mosquitoes and human beings. Mosquitoes are kind of parasite which are actually feeding on our blood and we are host for it. So the mosquitoes are actually getting blood or food from us and we are getting affected because हम लोगों को कुछ फायदा नहीं, हम लोग को उल्टा negative effect हो रहा है. That is called as parasitism. Another example is the predation, जहाँ पे one species is getting positively affected and the other is getting negatively affected. So let's say tiger and deer. Deer is like prey and the tiger is a predator. So tiger is eating the prey, that's deer, that is means tiger is getting benefited, however the deer is under loss. So that's how they are getting negatively affected. So all these things we will discuss in detail one by one under different terms like mutualism, competition, commensalism, amensalism and all. In the next class, we will start these introductions. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. You are understanding what I'm saying. At any point, if you feel that कि okay ये clear नहीं है या फिर ये बहुत fast हो रहा है या फिर it is not very convincing to you, just raise your hand or let me know कि कुछ problems है करके. Don't be silent, okay? Because it is all for you. So अगर तुम लोग को नहीं समझ रहा है, so there is no point from my side to put in so much of efforts, right? So anything you are not understanding, let me know कि नहीं समझ रहा है, वापस explain करो. We will do it, we will repeat it, whatever. I will try to find out some other ways. No, there is no worries about that. But just let me know if some issues are there or some network issues are there also. Okay. So with this, I will stop here. If you are having any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So any doubts there?